Hey there, this is Anthony Metivier from magneticmemorymethod.com, and I'm so excited to show you in this video how to use a simple table at a cafe or restaurant to memorize the names of the people that you meet there. And I found a really exciting table to use as an example, which is this one right here. And look at the crazy imagery it has on it, which is perfect for using memory techniques. Now, I really want to thank everyone who is already a subscriber to this channel. If you're not, please hit that subscribe button if you care about improving your memory. And, you know, there's been so many emails as April and I made our move to Brisbane, and I knew it was the right place to come when I saw this table. It's one of the first things that I saw. And of course, then in the grocery store, they have Star Wars Band-Aids, which is like perfect for visual memory, having great figures or bridging figures, as we call them in the magnetic memory method, to really just show that this is the best place to be. And then, of course, this is the new magnetic memory method headquarters, the rooftop office portion, and that's the view. And look at all those memory palaces. It's going to be so great. So apologies for delays in answering your questions. Things are going to settle real soon, and we're just really grateful for all your support and interest. And again, if you're not subscribed to this channel, hit that. And before we go on, and as you're hitting that subscribe button, before we get into how to use this table, or a table like this, or even a boring table as a memory palace, I want to update you on something that's really important. It means a lot to me, and that is a new Kickstarter campaign that is put out right now and is running out of time to be a backer of, and that's the Mastery Journal by John Lee Dumas. And I just did it myself. I didn't want to do it without a new address, and now I got a new address, and you can see I'm a backer, pledged 125, and I'm going to get 2 of these, and there's a digital thing that comes with it, like a PDF version, and I guess I get 2 PDF versions, and there's an audiobook and all sorts of stuff. And just look at how wildly successful this is. So many people backing it, and as I'm recording this, there's only 10 days to go. And you can see I'm not like a big Kickstarter guy. This is only my 3rd one that I'm supporting. The other one was another project by John called the Freedom Journal. You probably heard me talk about it before. And of course, I forgot something, which is Nelson Dellis's great book, which if you don't have it, you got to get this. But back to the matter at hand, the Freedom Journal was really revolutionary for me last year, and I'm going to be talking more about it. One of the things for you who you're interested in improving your memory, and maybe you're learning a language, is that I have this post, and everything on it still stands, about Mandarin Chinese mnemonics and morning memory secrets. And at the time, I hadn't started using the Freedom Journal, but once that I got it and started using it as part of my morning memory secrets for Chinese, things just accelerated. And the cool thing with the Freedom Journal is that when you grab one, you are helping support John's charity, which is Pencils of Promise. And you can, find out all about that on thefreedomjournal.com. And if you happen to use a special link that I'll give you in a second, it's also supporting the charity that I support, which is the Pollination Project. So Freedom Journal, magneticmemorymethod.com/TFJ. I'll have that down in the description below. But I really want to get your support on the new thing that he's doing, which is the Mastery Journal. And that's just right now, it's a new thing. It's an evolution of the Freedom Journal. I can't wait to see mine and start using it. And I'm probably going to figure out a way to use both the Freedom Journal and the Mastery Journal on the same day, see if they gel together or what. But all I know is that this is a great investment in a great project that's doing great things for the world. And Pencils for Promise is super interesting. So get on board with that for sure. And time is running out to be one of the first backers. Okay, so by the way, just in case that's not clear, this is all happening on Kickstarter.com. So the link will be down in the description, or just go to Kickstarter and look for the Mastery Journal. You're going to love this stuff once you get into it. It's just amazing. Now, let's talk about this. This is a table, and again, you can find a boring one. It doesn't have to be super exciting. What I love about this is that it's a perfect demonstration of the kind of crazy, wild imagery you want to have in mind when you're using memory techniques. Now, there's a lot of people who email me about not being able to see in their minds. Listen, you don't have to see anything in your mind. You just have to think about exaggeration. You have to imagine that it's big and bright and colorful without necessarily getting caught up on whether you see anything or not. I'm very low on the visual angle in my mind. I really am. And I don't see that. Well, I've developed over the years, and I've done that by studying drawing, looking at lots of art, going to art galleries. I was so blessed to have a research grant that gave me travel expenses to go to the Louvre. And, so you don't have to go to the Louvre. You could just go to the nearest art gallery. You can get a coffee table book of art and just start looking at art, right? Start thinking visually and use visual words more. And you don't have to see in HD. And I'll explain a little bit more about that. You don't close your eyes and see HD television. Also, just so you know, I'm trying to get hold of Penn Jillette. He has on his Sunday School podcast an episode where he talks about aphantasia, which is the condition in which people can't see in their minds. But he has such a stellar memory. He's a magician. He knows magic routines inside and out. And he talks on that episode about how that he is able to remember things. And I want to get his permission to play that clip on Magnetic Memory Method podcast. And, so if you have contact with him, I've sent through a bunch of messages already and haven't gotten a response. So it'd be great. All I want is permission to play that clip. It'd be awesome to have him on the podcast too, of course. But, baby steps. Anyway, here's what you do when you want to use a table as a memory palace and remember names of people. First, you want to think strategically about the palace and split it up. I'm going to just talk about it as a 4-station memory palace, your little magnetic stations, and the corners are just brain dead simple to use. So you just pick a corner, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but there are strategic reasons why I picked this corner as opposed to another corner for station 1. But you'll get your own style as you get into this, or if you want to come to magneticmemorymethod.com, you can go deeper into all the justifications and reasons and strategy behind picking this corner instead of that corner as the first one. But I picked this one. Then we got the second station here, the third station, and the fourth station. And these decisions really help keep the journey clean. Don't go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. That's going to just make a jumble in your mind. You want to go in a linear fashion, and in this particular case it's clockwise for reasons that in another context it might be counterclockwise. Anyway, now let's say we're meeting some people and we want to use this table as a memory palace to help us remember their names. Now, if you meet a person, let's say you meet Wayne, right? Well, you might not need all of this elaborate memory palace stuff. You might just see Wayne and you see him in a fist fight with Wayne Gretzky. And maybe, I don't know, some serial killer is there, like John Wayne Gacy or whatever. And that's all you need. You just link it to that person in a particular way. There's lots of ins and outs and strategies and stuff that I teach in the masterclass about memorizing names that can, really amplify your needs, your memory learning style, and so forth. But I always love to link things to particular memory palaces and magnetic stations in memory palaces because it helps with actually getting the names into long-term memory. So I remember where I met the person, remember some details about them that can be added on with something called the pillar technique, and just there's all kinds of things that can be done that enhance the memory experience. So we'll get into that a little bit in a second, but we've got the memory palace, we've got this little station, and of course this can be one that has more stations than this if you want, but just to keep it simple for your first go, this is what I'd recommend, the corners. And now we got Wayne, and I got Wayne Gretzky, and he's having a fist fight with this new guy Wayne that I met, and it's right there on the corner of the table. And again, this isn't anything that I'm necessarily seeing in high definition television in my mind. I'm picturing it, I'm using words, I'm talking myself through it, that Wayne Gretzky is in a fight with my new buddy Wayne, okay? And so then I meet another person, and this was Danielle, and I'm not gonna tell you what I saw for Danielle because to protect the privacy of all people involved. But let's just say that it deserves a gag order. I'm from Canada. We like our gag orders on the media. It doesn't help that our neighbors to the south are always showing our news to us that on their HD televisions and our HD televisions, so that we see what is supposedly gagged in our laws. But whatever. Point being is that I see something, or quote unquote see, I picture, I conceive, I use language and my low threshold imagery in order to link this spot on the table with this new person and the imagery that's going to help me recall that person's name, potentially, conceivably, most likely for the rest of my life. Then I met a person named Lou, absolute no-brainer to go for Lou Ferrigno there. also doing some crazy stuff I won't exactly mention, but this is private to you. You never judge your memory and your imagination. Just use what works, because it's going to really, really help you a great deal. And then I met someone whose name was Charlene, but I needed to remember that it was spelled with an S and not a C. And I have a girlfriend who was named Charlene, and it was with a C. So I see her in a particular way with a Superman S to remember that this new Charlene is spelled with an S. So it's just very, very simple, fast, effective. And as I'm meeting new people, I'm using other tables, parts of the room, and so forth as part of this extended memory palace. In this case, it was a street. You can do this all the time. And the first thing you do when you go into a restaurant or a cafe where you're meeting people, just scan the room. And when you have the magnetic memory method, you can instantly make your magnetic stations, because you'll have rules of thumb and principles upon which those rules are based. So magnetic memory method is, of course, always a method. It's not a system, but it helps you create systems. And then you have that sort of Bruce Lee flexibility in order to bend the rules as you step into rooms. And so it's really, really, really effective. Now, there's one last principle that we need to cover in order to make sure you get maximum results from this. And that super important principle is that you don't just create these images and then never revisit them. Now, at an advanced level, you can get, well, not even that advanced to tell you the truth, but you can get away with not doing your repetition. I don't recommend it though, because what happens is, even as the most experienced memorizer on the planet, and I'm sure the greatest world memory champions will concur with this and agree, is that no matter how good you are, the times that you think, that's a no-brainer, I'll remember it, I don't need to repeat it, those are usually your Achilles heel, and that's usually what you're going to forget. So don't ever rest on your laurels. Just do your repetition. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that, let's say there's just 4 people. I'm actually dealing with more like 20 people on this particular occasion that I'm referring to here. But just go small. Don't feel when you're a beginner that you have to memorize every name in the room. Just start working and do what you can, and just be relaxed about it. Be free, be easy. You're going to love it, because a lot of people put too much pressure on themselves, and you don't have to. And we all make mistakes. The best of the best make mistakes. And one of the coolest things that you can do when you make a mistake is just say, hey, I'm a person who works on my memory. I know why I made that mistake, and just educate people about what you're doing, why you're doing it. Pass these skills on, and always, always, always be cool. And that Bruce Lee thing, it just, no ego, no enemy. You never have to make a mistake with your memory. You never do. It's just really, really, really important that you repeat these things and follow your memory palace journey. Follow it forward, follow it backward. I will go, okay, so that was Wayne, and then I'll skip over to Lou, and then go to Danielle, and then over to Charlene, and then I might do it backwards like this way, and so forth. That's where the journey doesn't have to be so linear, but because you've got that journey figured out in a strategic way, you can start skipping the stations. Now, why would you do that? Well, it helps overcome what's called the forgetting curve, and it also helps build the primacy effect. So in your memory, you'll tend to remember first and last things a lot more stronger than you will remember the things in the middle. And so the way we overcome that is we give ourselves more access to the things in the middle. So when you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go 4, 3, 2, 1, well, you're still getting the primacy and the recency effect from the first and the last thing. But when you just pop into a memory palace at like station 3, and then go to 1, and then go to 2, and then to 4, well, then everything is getting equal or close to equal primacy and recency. So to really just sum this up very, very quickly, pick a table, give it some stations, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, just like that, and then link the names of the people that you meet with images that mean something to you. And, you don't have to share with anybody what those images are, and just gather them up and then rehearse them in order, out of order, forwards, backwards, skip those stations. You will remember those names, and if you ever make a mistake, don't sweat it. It's not a big deal. Just use it as a discussion point. Talk to people about how you're a person who is devoted to having the best possible memory that you can possibly have, and that, this is what you think went wrong. You'll learn so much from it. They'll learn from it, and you'll be a superhero, and you'll just be amazing. And, I'm so devoted to helping you master your memory that I just love that I have the opportunity to reach people to tell them about this mastery journal thing. It's going to be available after this, of course, but if you want to be one of the initial backers, there's all kinds of bonuses and special things. So make sure that you're on this, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because I'm going to catch up on all the crazy adventures that April and I had getting ourselves to Brisbane, and some of that includes how to use this special place in Beijing as a memory palace. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Make sure you get yourself a freedom journal and a mastery journal, and help out good causes. This is so amazing, and also the Pollination Project is so amazing, and just help us help others, and you'll be helping yourself, because what you can do with the mastery journal is absolutely incredible. So this is Anthony Metivier from magneticmemorymethod.com. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel, hit the like buttons, leave a comment, do all that cool share stuff, so that good stuff like this gets to as many people as possible in the world. And until we speak again, keep yourself magnetic.